the things that you mentioned about the book, those qualities are absolutely essential if you want to achieve two things: material success in your world, but also spiritual upliftment. And the two are congruent, one to the other. They work hand in glove. Yeah. And so it's not a case of forfeiting one or getting rid of one to achieve the other. What we want is a 200% quality of life, 100% inner and 100% outer. Yep. The two go hand in hand, and something that I've oscillated between the two early on in my sadhana, in my journey, but it became apparent, don't do that. Life is about a total acceptance of yourself, not a judgment, not a criticism, not an assessment of what is good or bad. The spirit, consciousness, doesn't really acknowledge any of that because it's just a presence. They come out of that and say, wow, I just went into a complete vacuum, into a nothingness, a blissful state of just joy. Yep. So we need that. The second thing we need is a total acceptance of ourself. If you don't accept yourself, don't think God is going to do it. You need to elevate your self-worth. This is so important in this domain. Drop all those concepts that tell you, oh, one day I'll be good enough, or I'll be pure enough, or I'll have cleansed my system of all the dross and be able to enjoy this. Meditation is saying it's much more instant than that. Experience no-mindedness and stop criticizing yourself. Stop belittling yourself, bringing your self-worth down. It pervades the entire understanding of meditation and spirituality, that sex is not wholesome because of one thing: loss of energy. You're going to lose the vitality that's needed to rise up to those higher levels of consciousness. A tremendous amount of energy is required. Yeah. And so, unfortunately, as you know, there's so many taboos. Don't do this, don't do that. And especially, don't have sex. Yeah. And if you do, it's only for children or something like that. Don't make a habit of that. Yeah. The problem with that is we villainize an experience that creates life.
Hello, Booknerds. Welcome to the Booknerds podcast. Today, we are going to talk about a book which is very interesting. It's called The Way of the White Lotus and The Divine Yoga of Streamline Meditation by Malcolm Fletcher. And we talked about a lot of things in the podcast which are very important. How to achieve happiness. There are a bunch of things that are written here: happiness, harmony, awareness, balance, and peace. All these things are very dear to me, and how to achieve it is something which we all struggle with. So we talked about how to kind of, practice streamline meditation, about Malcolm's journey with spirituality. We talked about other things like, do we really need to give up on all our carnal, desires to practice meditation, be in a higher state of consciousness, and lead a better life, understanding ourselves better. So there are other things also that are discussed in the podcast. Do watch it and do let us know in the comments what you felt about it, and do grab a copy if you like our discussion or would like to explore this technique of. And what I loved about this technique of streamline meditation is that it is very simple. It is away from all the noise that is around in the spiritual world. So yeah, that's why I love the book and enjoyed this conversation. I hope you do as well. And if you like it, uh, do share the video, like, share, subscribe, and yeah, our handle is at Booknerds on YouTube. Thank you so much. Happy watching. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Booknerds podcast. We were on a little break, but we are back with a very interesting book. It's called The Way of the White Lotus. It's right here. It's by Malcolm Fletcher, who is with us all the way from Australia, where he stays with his wife. And, you know, as you can see, Malcolm is dressed in a very dapper manner. He's looking great. And, we're going to talk about a lot of things which really, made me pick up this book. On the back cover, we have some terms that will appeal to you perhaps. We have happiness, harmony, awareness, balance, and peace. All of them are so important to us, to all of us. We are struggling to kind of achieve these terms and lead a very good and happy life, and that's what this book is all about. That's my first kind of impression of the book. If you want to live better, you want to reach a point where you are satisfied with your life all the time, at the same time not giving up on things, you need to pick up this book. We are going to talk about a lot of things. So first of all, before all of that, I'll stop rambling and ask, um, how are you, Malcolm? First of all, what's happening? And thank you for writing this book, first of all.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, all good my end, Rowan. Everything here is fine. The things that you mentioned about the book, those qualities are absolutely essential if you want to achieve two things: material success in your world, but also spiritual upliftment. And the two are congruent, one to the other. They work hand in glove. Yeah. And so it's not a case of forfeiting one or getting rid of one to achieve the other. What we want is a 200% quality of life, 100% inner and 100% outer. Yeah. The two go hand in hand, and something that I've oscillated between the two early on in my sadhana, in my journey, but it became apparent, don't do that. Life is about a total acceptance of yourself, not a judgment, not a criticism, not an assessment of what is good or bad. The spirit, consciousness, doesn't really acknowledge any of that because it's just a presence. And that's what we need to achieve in this life to really achieve success.
So I stay so close to Rishikesh and Haridwar, and I meet so many people who are trying to achieve that, trying to practice that, trying to teach that. And your story is so interesting because you started with kind of getting learning first of all, and then kind of going away from it in some ways, and then coming back to teaching it, which is with a different kind of concept, which you call Streamline Meditation. And it was so interesting for me because usually the kind of the people I meet, it's unfortunately it has become a business as well, which I don't mind, but I think the tweaking of techniques is a bit too much for me, which I felt that in your concept, you everything is so natural. Like you are telling people that this is a very personal journey. You need to do it yourself in some ways, and then kind of achieve your own path towards meditation. Okay, so my first question to you is that you mentioned a term called Satori or Satori. I don't know how to pronounce it, but
That's correct. That's correct. Satori is correct.
Satori is fine. And it was very interesting for me because this is something which, a lot of people talk about. But what exactly is Satori? Would you like to tell our viewers and listeners?
Well, it's more a Zen term. And it's very interesting when I was writing this book. Really, I thought that I had just taken the best of what worked with my experience. I had an experience at the age of 28 that started to reshape and change my life entirely. And of course, that especially was relevant to my sadhana, to my spiritual journey. Prior to that, I had been heading along using techniques and actually teaching techniques. I was made an initiator of Transcendental Meditation, or TM as it's known, by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, an incredible person. But his whole teaching was about repetition of a mantra. Now, although the repetition was to be effortless, I found that there were problems in that when my experience started to reformulate. I found that coming back to a mantra was problematic because it kept directing us back to something that is very finite. Whereas actually what meditation is asking us to do is drop all that and just emerge ourselves in the infinite. So a finite start and finish to meditation isn't appropriate if we want to achieve the maximum results. What Satori is, it's a Zen term, and it simply refers to a direct glimpse, not a permanent glimpse, not a permanent view, but a glimpse, a sudden moment of clarity, tremendous clarity, where you experience your inner essence. Now, this is a really important thing because what do we mean by that? Of course, I'm sure everyone in India, in your country, being the spiritual cradle of the world, everyone has an idea, okay, we know that's pure consciousness or something like that. But I've met many people who are very, very close to that experience and have no idea how close they are to it. Because we are told that the inner essence of the self, the inner self, what we call in Sanskrit Atman, that it's an experience of witnessing. But in actual fact, this threw me for a long time and kept me just pursuing something in the distance. It's not an experience of witnessing. That implies activity, that we are doing something, we are watching, we're participating in some way with the thing itself. Whereas when we refer to the witness, we're simply referring to a state. It's not witnessing. It's like that sky out there. It's a presence. Many things pass before it, but it's not watching. It's simply a consciousness that allows things to come and go, but it's not going to watch it or participate in it. And this is an important point. I always found or thought with the descriptions of the inner self that it was some kind of watchfulness, like I am watching the tree. I am watching the sky. But in actual fact, the little word of, O-F, is the problem here. It's not, we want to get rid of that so that we can experience awareness, aware of itself, not of the tree, not of the sky. We want the pure clarity of awareness itself. Now that sounds like, Malcolm is being a little bit mysterious or deliberately trying to be a bit quizzical. No, it's very simple because you, me, and everyone, we have that witness, that pure consciousness, but we try to direct it in many ways. What I'm saying is, if we have a moment of Satori, we suddenly drop into the witness, not witnessing. That takes us into another domain, which is like a technique.
Yeah.
You know, you'll hear people say, okay, I mean in the spiritual domain, you'll hear people say, okay, if techniques are not relevant, then what we should do is just simply close our eyes and witness our thoughts. I'm saying that also is a technique. Don't do that.
Yeah.
We want to reconnect with the self directly.
Yeah.
Then everything's simple. Everything is beautiful. And in fact, Satchitananda, we know that the final cognition of the self is bliss. That is the hallmark of this experience. It's a blissful thing to reconnect to the self. So Satori is the first thing that occurs. We start to have these glimpses of this nothingness. Nothing, I don't mean nothing in a negative term or a complete absence of any form of who and what we are. The exact opposite. What we are in essence. It's kind of like a nothingness. So it takes a while, or it took a while for me, to cognize what this experience is, because I was always directing it to some point in the future. I will witness this or repeat a mantra and so on, or visualize a chakra, you name it. And somewhere in the future, I will experience myself. This does not work. Anyone out there who is listening to this, ask yourself that question, is this working for me? And you'll find the answer is no, but it might work in the future. If you're thinking like that, you're wasting valuable time. And the pursuit of the divine is something we don't want to waste time on. So, one more point that I believe is absolutely critical to our spiritual journey is we want to experience ourselves as we are. We don't want to bring in all kinds of things as how can I become more holy? How can I become more spiritual? How can I be a better person? The whole domain of spiritual life is the acceptance of your inner self. It is already perfect. The periphery can create all sorts of waves, as we know. But what we need to do right from the outset is to have full confidence in ourself, in who and what we are. That is a total acceptance that's required here, not a situation where we make an assessment or a judgment call. Once we do that, we immediately divorce ourselves from our inner reality. So meditation is such where we want to go into that domain. And that domain is achieved by doing one thing. The usual approach to try to achieve that is, how do we stop thinking? How do we get rid of thought? How do we annihilate thought? How do we destroy thought? How do we avoid this constant noise of thought that appears to be flowing through the mind? In essence and in truth, and in Satori especially, you start to notice that it's not about destroying thought. It never has been. It's not about thought at all. Thought is the best blessing of the Creator. Without thought, you and I can do nothing. We can't even find our way home without thought. You can't remember to get some bread or some milk to take home for tea. So thought is absolutely critical in human life. What we need to do is slow down the process of thinking. This is the key. This is the vital key to achieving or entering the state of no mind. Now, I said that thought is critical. We don't want to destroy it, but what we can do is enter another region of the mind. That means no mind. Now, everyone knows thought comes, another thought comes, another thought comes. It's like it's an incessant, never-ending parade of mental images and ideas and thoughts and desires and goals that we have set for ourselves. Nothing wrong with that. We don't want to get rid of that. But what we want to do when we meditate is come back home to the divine, to the source of all that. And the way to do that is to stop disturbing all that. Now, I'll go more into that a little bit later. But if you can just humor me for the moment.
Sure.
What happens with the thinking process, it arises from a depth within us. It all happens in a nanosecond, so we miss that actual reality.
Right.
But there is a depth to our thought. And one thought comes along because we have trained ourselves to just be thinking all the time. We miss the fact that all of that is arising within a complete, vast absence or nothingness of consciousness, the witness itself. And so what we want to do is not destroy that process, let it slow down.
Okay.
So that a thought comes and then there's a gap. There's a moment of stillness. And we notice that awareness is simply aware of itself. Before we were aware of the thought. We weren't trying to watch thought, but thought would come along and completely overwhelm the thinker, our essence, the self would just be absorbed in that. But after a while, what we want to do is, if we stop disturbing that, what we want to do is start to experience that moment where thought slows down. It's not destroyed. It's not being taken out of the picture, but we're starting to notice that there are thoughts, but there are also these gaps. This nothingness is there where we're aware, but not terribly aware of thought. It's a concrete thought. There's just a vagary. There's an emptiness to ourselves. And that is the essence. That is what the book was written all about. That how do we allow thought to slow down? It's by stopping disturbing it, annoying it, adding to it, so that we never get a moment's peace. And yet, the way to do that is so simple.
And, you mentioned an example in the book. It's a sports example of tennis and of a player who, kind of sometimes experiences, people say, a lot of players say that I was in the zone, and nobody can define it. There is no definition of the zone. And it was such a beautiful thing because, even in any profession, you're performing, and sometimes, out of the blue, you perform, like you peak, and you realize that what was that? You can't define it. So I was very happy to read that because I could see that there is a correlation of what you have mentioned in the book, and this concept of zone and being at your peak and performing well, and the concentration is kind of peaking, and perhaps there is no distraction. Also, all these books are coming out. You might have noticed in the self-help world, there is deep focus, hyper focus. You can, all those things. What's your opinion on that? Have you read them? What do you think about them? A lot of talk is around the globe is about productivity, how to switch off, switch on, all this. Where does meditation come between all of this, and how can we kind of use it to perhaps But first, your thoughts about the books that I mentioned.
Okay, good point. There is a lot of talk and books written and podcasts done about being in the zone and achieving higher success than normal. Hyper success, if you like. This being in the zone, let me define it in terms that every meditator will know, but maybe not understand fully. That is being in the moment, in the now. Now, here's the important point. If you are miserable, if you are overwhelmed by unhappiness, forget about trying to be in the zone. It's not going to happen. If you think back, any person thinks back on when they've been really performing beautifully. A sports person, a business person, a student achieving great results, going through a great time. You'll always notice one thing. You're pretty happy.
Sure.
You're pretty content. Things seem to be, you just seem to be clicking on everything. So, the truth of the matter is, it's not about how do we get in the zone. It's how do we become permanently, eternally happy. How do we make happiness stable, that feeling of being blissful? Now, this comes back to the principle of meditation. As I said earlier, there's three things that are famous in the world of meditation. Sat, Chit, Ananda. The final word, Ananda, is the most beautiful word because it tells all of us to pursue the self, to reconnect with your depth. It's not a business. It's not a chore. It's not a horrible thing where you have to force yourself for years and years to achieve. It's yourself. It is the litmus test of meditation in its purest form. Exceeding bliss, ecstatic bliss, which means bliss is also a very interesting word, right? Because it implies, Ananda certainly implies, you're happy for no apparent reason. You're just happy to sit in your own presence, in your own aura. So the key to being in the zone is happiness. Now, if you're not a meditator, if you don't have a direct way to access your source or the source of thought, consciousness itself, pure consciousness, not adulterated with all the ideas and thoughts that we have, just pure consciousness itself. If you don't have a way to tap into that, it's very hard to stabilize your life on the principle of happiness because life is up and down. Many things happen, good and bad, miserable, happy. So we don't want to just be anchored to situations being good for us, situations being congenial to us. That means, we're successful at the moment, or we're enjoying a good run in our sporting life or our social life. But then next thing, as we know, because life has this undeniable contrast of opposites, good and bad, hot and cold, you name it. They all have an opposite. We oscillate. And so if our life is dependent upon things going well for us, we're only going to be happy half the time. And maybe not even completely happy. So we have to bring in one more thing. Consciousness itself. The essence, the very foundation of our life. The very same field that permeates this entire creation. Tap that source. And one thing, no matter what's going on in your outer life, you'll start to feel a joy that is unencumbered,
Yeah.
that is unbounded. It's not restricted by circumstances, but it will add that blissfulness to your circumstances. So things that seem pretty bad or a bad situation won't seem as bad. You still want to change that circumstance maybe, but it's not overwhelming you.
Yeah.
It's no longer, oh, my life's over. There's a clarity to that.
Yeah.
So that comes back to, again, Satori, having these moments, punctuating these moments in your day-to-day of true joy.
There's a term that is thrown around a lot, enlightenment, and I've been hearing this for so long because there's a lot of talk, especially in Uttarakhand. It's the Devbhoomi, and that we are fascinated by it. So we because we in some ways we have the time as well. We stay in this beautiful state of India because we love it so much. We have a presence of we are spiritually very rich, and everybody wants to somewhere or the other, kind of achieve enlightenment. I read in the book that you read Siddhartha as well, the book, and it gave you a lot. Take us through this. What do you think about enlightenment, and what are the learnings that you have had over the period of time? Because when you were young, perhaps, and you wouldn't. I believe that you wouldn't have worried about all this, right?
No, I started thinking about all this at the age of 13.
13. That's quite early. I thought that it was 18, but 13 is quite early.
It was 18 that I took to meditation in a formal way.
Yeah.
But actually, at the age of 13, I was looking at a magazine in our house that my mother had brought home, and it had a picture of Maharishi Mahesh just on the second or third page. I was just flicking through it with very little interest.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that picture, it was like a light went off inside my head.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything. I just knew I was drawn to that guy, to that picture. And the more I went into that, it wasn't long before at the age of 13 that I turned up in Melbourne to one of the very few, maybe the only one, who was an authorised teacher of TM back then. Anyway, look, there was many things. I was young, I had no money. I'd actually, my parents didn't know what I was up to that day because she was at least an hour from my home of travel on the train.
Wow.
And so, I sort of went there without saying anything, because when I told my parents I was interested in learning this process, they were horrified. They thought
Aussies just want to play sports. They're terrified by all this overthinking. Am I wrong?
You're pretty right. And in my parents' case, particularly my mother, she felt like meditation is something that a priest or a hippie does. Not someone like you. Why do you want to go off to the mountains and meditate?
Yeah.
So, of course, I decided to pursue that solo without any further discussion.
Did you buy the train ticket or just hopped on the train just like that?
I did pay for the ticket. Probably I wish I hadn't, because it didn't go anywhere. I met the lady, and ultimately, without going into great detail, there were a number of things. Number one, she wanted a note from my parents because I was a minor.
Right.
Number two, there was going to be some charge, some costs. I had to give some money. And number three, I would have to not just get my mantra, but I would have to come back each day for 3 days, 3 more days, which was impossible. It was just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, her final words to me were, don't worry. Let meditation find you. You've come here. Let it now find you. And that's what happened more or less at the age of 18, why you mentioned that. That's in the book. And that was that moment that I was ready for. Everything was aligned. And it wasn't long before that brought in a huge change in my life.
My follow-up question was about enlightenment and, how the book starts. What did you experience with the book and your thoughts on enlightenment?
Well, first of all, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do you think enlightenment is?
I'm really confused because I've been thinking about this for so long, and I feel the general thing would be to complete awareness, perhaps understanding our brain much better than others, other than the 99% out there. Connection to the self, all these terms that are thrown around. And then I get confused sometimes because how do I achieve it? So that's something, that's my impression.
Yeah. In my life, I had put enlightenment up on some kind of pedestal. I didn't know what it was. I was just young and naive, and I was following the Maharishi. I flew over to Switzerland. I worked at his headquarters in Seelisberg for a year, did teacher training, did a retreat, etc. And the description given in the TM circles was basically you will arrive at a point of witnessing. And that very word tripped me up for a long time because it's not about witnessing. It is about the witness, but it's not about the witnessing. So, ultimately...
I'm so sorry to cut you off, but I have been thinking about this even till this moment. When I started reading the book, I always thought that it's about witnessing. But even if I pursue this, I'm going to witness something special at the end of the road. And I don't know what I'm going to witness, but it will be special. Something which will, I don't know, elevate me to somewhere which is very blissful, like we have been using this word. So that's something which I've been thinking for a long time.
And you are no different than me or probably most people. However, let me explain something. If you repeat the word water, you know what it is, you can get a visual concept of it. Will that satisfy your thirst? Never.
Right.
It can't. It can't. It's a concept. A word is a concept to express and explain the outer world, but it's not the thing. And so it is with the word enlightenment. In fact, I avoid that word like the plague because everyone has their own idea as to how special, how divine, how unique that really is. But let's break this down. What's important if you are talking about being enlightened, which means getting rid of the darkness surrounding you, bring in the light. What are you going to notice? There's a couple of things that I believe are paramount to this journey, to this idea. And that is the first one I've already spoken about. We need to enter the state of no mind at the beginning of the journey, not down the track. You mentioned somewhere in the future, I'm going to feel great. I'm going to be walking hand in hand with God. Right? Let's forget about that. Let's forget about, is there a moment, is there a key that I can turn where I can enter a state of no-mindedness. Because you can't do that, forget about enlightenment, right? If you can't experience a state, a moment where your awareness, which you're using right now, listening to me, where you're aware of that awareness. Not so much Malcolm. I fade into the distance, but Rowan becomes self-aware. Now, that's the key number one. The second one is, can you accept yourself where you are right now as yourself? Or are you constantly looking and saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not holy enough, I'm not special enough, I must find a very special guru or person or scripture that will bring me in, will raise me, allow me to purify myself and become good enough to accept the divine. Meditation actually isn't saying that. It's saying, accept the divine right now, in this moment. Stop judging everything good, bad, and otherwise. Just be in the moment. So two things go together, hand in hand. First thing is no-mindedness. Start to allow yourself to experience this in your life. Then you'll find there's a spillover, because in order to do that, you automatically stop having to judge and criticize yourself, telling yourself you're not worthy. That will start to disperse. And you'll find these two moments start to create something incredibly beautiful for you. Now, I'm sure if you asked your wife or your best friend or your school teacher or one of those mystics traveling through Rishikesh right now what enlightenment is, everyone will give you a different answer. It'll all sound the same. But essentially, they'll have their own little spin on it.
Right.
Because in most people, we're talking about a concept. And the first thing you want to get rid of is concepts. That will completely booby trap your sadhana, your spiritual journey. It won't allow you to really see things with great clarity. We want to see things as we are, the good, the bad, the ugly. We don't want to change that. Allow consciousness itself to permeate our life. And I won't use the word change, but things do change. But not by your doing, by the influence of the Sahasrara, the crown chakra. It starts to bathe everything in its own luminosity. And then even things that you thought were bad don't look that bad anymore. So when I look at this question, let's leave the word enlightenment out of it, and let's just go back to this. Number one, can you experience a mind that is free from thought? Most people will say, no. And the other people will say, oh, only if I repeat a mantra, or only if I watch my breath, the flow of the breath, or only if I concentrate on a chakra or an energy center, or visualize a god sitting on my head. But is that really going to take you into no mind? Because you know what will happen. The moment you accept that premise, that is a way to an inner doorway to pass through that, you bring in a mindset that is fundamentally flawed when it comes to pure meditation. I'm repeating a mantra. The instruction given to me was, when I drift off the mantra onto thought, and I become aware that I have drifted off thought, come back to the mantra. Now, that sounds harmless enough, but our mind creates habits like that in a nanosecond. You know, you go and meet your friend and play tennis on Friday, and then your friend says, hey, what are you doing next Friday? Let's go and play tennis again. You know, after about a couple of sessions like that, every Friday you're thinking, okay, I'm going to play tennis. We just form habits. And habits are opposed to pure consciousness because a habit eliminates the need to think about anything. We now have a way to perform. And so it is with meditation techniques, methods and systems. They indoctrinate us into the world of habits. And therefore, a habit it's going to be extremely rare to break through to the infinite because we're always yoked back to the finite. So we have to look at meditation anew. First of all, how can we enter the state of no-mindedness, be aware of that, but not go anywhere? We can sit in that awareness. Can we do that? I'm saying, and have proven it to be, totally doable and possible for all people, even new meditators. Most people will think, oh, yes, but Malcolm, you've been going on this path for a long time. No. I've taught so many people who haven't even meditated before. And they come out of that and say, wow, I just went into a complete vacuum, into a nothingness, a blissful state of just joy. So we need that. The second thing we need is a total acceptance of ourself. If you don't accept yourself, don't think God is going to do it.
Truly.
You need to elevate your self-worth. This is so important in this domain. Drop all those concepts that tell you, oh, one day I'll be good enough, or I'll be pure enough, or I'll have cleansed my system of all the dross and be able to enjoy this. Meditation is saying it's much more instant than that. Experience no-mindedness and stop criticizing yourself. Stop belittling yourself, bringing your self-worth down.
Amazing. I'm having so much fun kind of because so many of my questions are being answered in real time. So I'm so happy about it and just amazing. Um, the the things you are mentioning, they are very simple, but
Absolutely.
just to achieve that, I mean, easier said than done. But I think if one tries to kind of move in that direction, it is possible. Okay, a bit about streamline meditation, because we have been talking about all the concepts, but how is it different to whatever people are practicing currently? I mean, I see so many things being practiced here in India. I have no clue what's happening. I got an invite to something. I don't want to mention it, but I was like, okay, mm, this art, just trying to mention, but there are so many arts of doing so many things now. I'm confused. Like, why should I even, indulge? I mean, a lot of people are confused. And yeah, so what about streamline meditation? And you have experienced so many things in your life. You started with something different, but how is it different? And you have mentioned all the concepts, but how can one practice it ourselves also? Is it necessary to have a teacher all the time, or just one can go for it themselves?
Well, look, let's go one step at a time here. The first thing you mentioned was there's so many things out there, so many ways to the top of the mountain. It's almost confusing.
Yeah.
Do I repeat a mantra? Do I chant this? Do I, visualize something? Do I change my lifestyle? Do I shave my head and wear orange clothes?
Yeah.
Meditation is not saying to do any of that. In fact, You mentioned that to do something, I don't know what to do. Is meditation a doing or is it a non-doing?
Yep.
Is it a relaxing into the depth of yourself, or are you trying to go somewhere? Rowan directing his awareness to something or something that he thought this might work, when we really don't even know what we're directing or trying to head to. Don't even entertain that. Look, I know it's just a round robin. It's the how can you say? It's kind of like the hamster wheel of the spiritual path.
Yeah. Do you think it's a lot of do you see a lot of performative spirituality around you?
Do I see what?
Do you see a lot of performative spirituality? People trying to project that, I want to be spiritual, I am spiritual, I am doing this, I am doing that. Have you encountered that?
How can you not encounter that? I mean, this whole domain is full of that. And therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
And that is part of the hamster wheel that I'm talking about. Is that all relevant to our quest to simply experience that which is sacred? If we think that that is not available to us, there's another problem again of our self-worth and a lack of insight into how is that possible? How can we just simply merge with the divine? Now, the first thing is meditation. You asked about Streamline Meditation. I call what I teach Streamline Meditation. It's just a way that I came up with, because people would, when I re-emerged to finally teach this meditation, people would often say, well, what kind of teaching is it? What system is it?
Yeah.
And so I took the word streamline because it's an incredibly beautiful word. It just simply means we've got rid of all the unnecessary bits.
Yeah.
Let's just go to the self.
Yeah.
Let's just become aware of the self.
Yeah.
And so this is the whole basis of Streamline Meditation.
Yeah.
Go directly to the self. And how we do that is not by a doing. You can't do that.
Yeah.
If I was to say to you, Rowan, look, you're sitting there with your arm like that, just be yourself.
Yeah.
You're thinking, I am myself. Right?
Yes.
There's no doing. There's no doing to Rowan being himself. But what Rowan can experience is a quietening down of the self if you stop disturbing everything. And when I say that, people go, I'm not really disturbing anything. Yes, you are. And so the whole teaching of Streamline Meditation is not how to meditate. That takes care of itself. It's just to identify how we're interfering with it. And we're missing right at the beginning the very essence of meditation, the inner self. It's there at the beginning. This is not a process or way to meditate that is taking you down a distance of time and place. What meditation is saying, like in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna said to Arjuna, like he's about to go into this amazing battle, a ferocious battle, which will have major consequences for his life and his family and friends and benefactors. They'd all sort of drawn their own sides and whatever. And he complained to his charioteer. I mean, I'm preaching to the converted here, of course, everyone in India. This beautiful song of the Lord. It's absolutely beautiful. And he simply dismisses everything, all the complaint, all the judgment, all the assessment, and just simply says in chapter 2, Yoga Stat Guru Kamani, established in pure consciousness, perform your action. It's that simple. He didn't say, oh, look, I know you've got a big battle going on in a few hours and you're going to need time. You're going to need like a couple of years to get this down pat. That is not implied in that statement. It's direct. Established in pure consciousness, perform your action. Yoke yourself back to your source. So number one, it's not like we're talking a journey of time. What are we missing right at the beginning? We're missing that space through which all thoughts flow. When I was younger and studied at school, I studied art. And I'll always remember we had this teacher. She would always insist upon us doing very different sort of things. For example, we would go out into the field and she would say, okay, she wouldn't say we're going to paint that tree. Her whole thing was, we're going to paint the space between all the leaves. Don't fill in the leaves. And so it was her who took a big sheet of white paper one day. I can't remember exactly when. I was in fourth form. Yeah. And she put a tiny little cross in the very centre of that big sheet of paper. And she said, what do you see? And some of us were more creative and said, oh, it's a Christian cross. Someone else was saying it's this. Someone else was saying that. She says, you guys, you've missed the whole white sheet of paper. The sheet of paper is like this. Yep. Here's a tiny mark. And so it is with our lives. We are just simply missing the start. It's not like there's a mystery to it. We're just not aware of something that's there right at the beginning and simply miss the whole thing. And we just keep colliding with thoughts, opinions, ideas, goals, etc. And so that whole expanse of consciousness through which all thoughts flow, we don't even see it. You know, there's a beautiful experiment on YouTube. The monkey inattention deficit video. Okay. And look, as a video spoiler, essentially what it is, there's all these players lined up and you're asked to count the number of times the two balls are being passed one to the other players as they're playing. Yeah. What happens with that? Surprisingly, we miss the whole point that there's a guy wandering between the players in a gorilla suit and most people completely missing. Because our mind is focused on something else. We're counting, we're expecting to see something. We're not expecting to see the gorilla. Yep. And so we miss it. And this is like our life, right? We miss so many things, spiritual cues, spiritual experiences, more uplifted experiences, because our attention is looking for what we know. Yep. You know, the late J. Krishnamurti used to use a beautiful term, freedom from the known. Yep. And, you know, it's a phrase that you can just bypass immediately. But, yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, it's more significant if you go into it. There is so much that we miss in this existence because our attention is elsewhere. The future, I'm getting this result. Can you go and get this guy? I want to have a meeting with him. And in the meantime, what's actually happening around you is minimized. Yeah. It's reduced down. So the whole point of Streamline Meditation is the start. Yeah. And There's no mystery to this. For example, do you want to try a little experiment?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in a moment, I'm going to get you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Now, hang on, don't do it yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you to close your eyes. And we're not going to be looking for thought or concepts or ideas. Just look. That's all. We're just going to close our eyes. Yeah. Even though our eyes are closed, it's not like we just disappear. There's something watching that in a situation. And what you'll find is when you first do this and you close your eyes, you'll see it's kind of like just a dark, dimly lit kind of space. There's actually not all these millions of thoughts there that you thought that were there. They're there because you're quite unconscious.
Yeah.
So look, let's try this just for a moment.
Sure.
Hopefully the gods smile upon us.
Sure.
If not, I'm going to get you out of the picture and ask Nia to come in.
Absolutely.
Sure. Okay, and we're only going to do this for a few seconds.
Sure.
So, are you sitting comfortably?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you quite happy not to close your eyes and be searching for thoughts, ideas, or
Absolutely.
God? Okay.
Absolutely.
You're just going to close your eyes and see what you see, right? And I'm going to ask you a question when you do that, but keep your eyes closed, okay?
Sure.
Okay, so just relax, close your eyes, and simply watch the inner space. And it'll just feel like a kind of darkness, a kind of nothingness. So what are you seeing right now, Rowan?
I'm trying to kind of, concentrate more, maybe.
No, I don't want you to concentrate.
Okay.
It's a relaxed.
Okay.
Okay, open your eyes. We'll start this again.
Okay.
Because you're automatically bringing. This is the problem, right? We're bringing so many conditioned responses into everything.
There's so much happening.
Yeah.
It's just that crazy.
Yeah. Okay, let's try another tact. Okay. Let's try another tact. When we close our eyes, I want you to think about something that you were doing earlier today.
Okay.
Probably trying to guide me how to join you on this podcast. Anyway, so just think about something you were doing today.
Okay.
And then after 10, 15 seconds or so, just think about things, let them come in, what you were doing or whatever. There might be thoughts or words or images. However it comes to you, and whatever comes to you is fine, just things you were doing.
Sure.
And after about 15 seconds or so, I'm going to say, Rowan, stop trying to remember things and just simply watch whatever is there now. Yeah. And don't bring concentration into it, please. Don't bring effort. Sure. Don't bring anything in. Just simply drop all that and just simply watch. Okay?
Sure.
So when you're ready, just close your eye.
Yeah.
And I want you to start remembering some things that you were doing earlier today.
Sure. Perfect.
Okay. Now, when you're ready, just simply stop trying to remember things and just simply watch. Just see what is there now. If there's nothing there, just watch the nothingness, that blankness, that kind of dullness. So what are you seeing now? Just nice and simple.
Just some darkness, a lot of darkness.
Okay. So there's not a million thoughts there, just some darkness, right?
Yep.
Okay. Open your eyes. You get a big tick.
Okay.
You,
Did I do it?
you, you could very easily become a profound streamline meditator.
Wow. Yes.
That's
It's
the doorway. That
yeah.
is the doorway. Yes, there's more to that
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
make sure we weed out those preconceived ideas that Rowan has. But once you get the gist of this,
Yeah.
it opens up a whole Pandora's box
Yeah.
of
This could be one of my favorite podcasts ever because I haven't done an experiment like that. Not with that because that's so profound. When when
yes.
when I just went, I stopped kind of, uh, yeah, it was nothing, like you said, and that is so beautiful for me because it was very momentary. Although there were like very slight distractions, I must say, but I can see with a lot of practice and perhaps I could kind of get better at this kind of uh, looking at that keyhole, if I can call that. I don't know. There was nothing for a moment, so it's good.
Okay.
It's good.
Now listen.
Yeah.
Most people spend their whole life and never have a moment of nothing.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
So that stillness is profound. Don't underestimate it. Don't think, oh, well, that was nothing, so therefore it's nothing. It's everything.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the inner self,
Hmm.
Atman,
Hmm.
you were just starting to reconnect with that right from the beginning. But let me caution you on one thing.
Yeah.
The first thing you said was, with a lot of practice, I can get better at this,
Yeah.
and I can get rid of distractions.
Yeah.
There is no distractions.
That's the whole point of
There's
what.
no distractions
Yeah.
because when we say a distraction,
Yeah.
our mind is bringing in another lot of conditioning to say, oh, I shouldn't be thinking. I've drifted off the nothingness
Yes.
onto a problem for work.
Yeah.
And therefore your mind immediately will come back in and go, Rowan, you've got to do a lot of practice here. That's not good enough.
Yes.
There is no distraction.
Right.
And I'll tell you the reason. When you're a little kid,
Mm.
2 years of age,
Mm.
year and a half, you're running around,
Mm.
totally aware of the world.
Yeah.
Your mind was wandering.
Yeah.
And this is how consciousness expands.
Yeah.
People think concentration is the path of meditation. It's not. It's a byproduct of meditating, but it's not a way to meditate.
Right.
Let the mind wander, let it drift, because you know what will happen?
Yeah.
You will always come back to that nothingness. And as you do, each time, it'll be more and more profound. But anyway, I'm not saying that it doesn't need a little bit of practice. Yes, it does. But if that moment you just had isn't where awareness was becoming more aware of itself, you're missing the whole point of meditation.
Got it. Got it. I think our listeners and viewers would have a better idea of what we're trying to say. And of course, reading the book also, you will get perspective on what's happening here. And actually, my final question, and I had just planned for like 35, 40 minutes, but we hit an hour and I didn't
Wow.
even feel anything. I didn't even feel anything. So that's another first. Um, a lot of things, a lot of people, and especially in the Indian scenario, we're like, if you want to, achieve, sort of do meditation or become spiritual, become religious, whatever, you need to give up on a lot of things. There is a lot of taboo around it. You need to become a monk. You need not practice. You can't have sex. All of that. There's a lot of taboo around it. And in the book I read that you talk about it, so perhaps some more light on that, because a lot of people are confused with that do we need to give up on everything, every materialistic pleasure of life, to kind of, do streamline meditation and get kind of, achieve this access consciousness, all of that?
Well, this is a really important question, because it pervades the entire understanding of meditation and spirituality, that sex is not wholesome because of one thing: loss of energy. You're going to lose the vitality that's needed to rise up to those higher levels of consciousness. A tremendous amount of energy is required.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, as you know, there's so many taboos. Don't do this, don't do that. And especially, don't have sex.
Yeah.
And if you do, it's only for children or something like that. Don't make a habit of that.
Yeah.
The problem with that is we villainize an experience that creates life. We turn it into something unholy, not to be respected, something to be avoided. And if you were a good person, you wouldn't even think about entertaining that kind of those acts, and certainly not regularly.
Yeah.
And so we're going to look at where this has all come from. And it's recognized in all the spiritual traditions, particularly in India, as brahmacharya.
Yeah.
This means the way of Brahman, that we want all the energy converging up to these two higher centers, the Ajna chakra and the crown chakra, Sahasrara. Without that consolidation of energy, the pathway is very difficult, because we do need to muster our energy. However, does that mean that two people can't get together and, date and enjoy one another's company and fall in love and all that implies? Certainly not. God is the biggest creator of all. I'm looking at a little palm tree out here outside my window. That palm tree right now is producing a massive seed pod.
Okay.
Is there one seed in that? Or I couldn't even count them. I think there's probably 1,000 seed pods, seeds in that pod. Right? Prolific production. Yeah. That's nature. That is God. Expansionary. So the moment we start thinking of sex as some dirty thing or inappropriate thing or something that dignified people on the spiritual path would never talk about, they bypass one of the most important things. There is a little doorway in the sexual act that all the ascetics avoid like the plague, and that is that little window of orgasm. It's available to all people, but what meditation is saying is there's a way to deal with this appropriately so that the energy is not lost in the act, so that instead of the loss of vitality, there will be some loss on the periphery level, on the physical level. But what we're concerned about is that inner energy connected with Kundalini. Yeah. So taking the understanding of Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga, we have physical exercises. We also have pranayama. Yeah. There are many pranayams. And if you read into that, I'm sure everyone over there knows, basically any kind of holding the breath in or out is a way to lock in and store prana. The simple path of brahmacharya is simply, how do we do that? We simply hold the breath at that moment just before orgasm and hold the breath through the experience. What then happens is amazing. Instead of the energy being lost or the experience being depleted, the experience is still full, but the energy becomes so thin, it rushes up the Sushumna Nadi and connects with the third eye.
Okay.
Now, why is this important? If there is any sexual engagement, this understanding is really important. We don't want to lose that energy just because we had a romantic moment with our partner. We want to be able to hold on to that inner essence of energy so that it builds up in the center. The third eye will absorb energy like crazy. It's been, for most people, it's a dormant faculty.
Yeah.
And so we want the energy that we have, that our system develops from the air, the water, and the food that we have, so that if we have a romantic relationship, why should we lose our connection to the divine? It should be strengthened. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
We are here, we want to connect with people, we want to get married, we want to have children and so forth.
Yeah.
So I think that one of the saddest things about the whole spiritual journey, and I'm not just talking about in India, I'm talking about like in the Christian world here, you know, there's all these priests getting bent out of shape because they're expected to be celibate and whatever. My idea of celibacy is not non-performance.
Yeah.
If it feels appropriate to you, the whole meaning of celibacy is how to save that precious energy, that vitality, because we need that to keep building up in the Ajna chakra and in the crown chakra.
Yeah.
So chapter 11 in my book goes into this in a lot of detail.
Yeah.
Most people, and I'm sure you know, you'll come across them, you would have come across them, most people really, they don't have a complete understanding of meditation, of sex in meditation. They simply tell you, just avoid it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. Take it out of your life.
Yes.
Try to live without that.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's a problem with that, because if you do that and if you're serious about that, and I experimented on myself in my own journey with this.
I read in the book.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. But that, yeah, please go ahead and tell us what happened.
Well, basically what I found was when you try to entertain celibacy deliberately, even when you're thinking I'm celibate, you're still thinking about sex. Don't kid yourself, right? I haven't had sex now for 3 months. Okay, don't kid yourself. You're still thinking, you're obsessed with sex, right?
Yeah.
Forget about that. People who aren't trying to be celibate, they don't think about sex all the time. Someone who's trying to be celibate is thinking about sex continuously.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the worst thing about that I found is when you're trying really hard to contain all that, what you're doing is you're denying beauty. And meditation works and only works because beauty is something that when we entertain beauty, we find beauty. We see a beautiful lotus growing in a pond.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just sitting there in the sunlight. When you see something beautiful, another thing happens. The mind immediately goes a little bit still, just in that moment where we go, wow, that's beautiful. When you try to suppress an energy like sex, you are denying beauty. And when you deny beauty in one thing, you tend to deny it in everything.
Wow.
It's not a beautiful way to live, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And I abandoned that whole approach, and fortunately this became obvious to me. And it's something that I feel is worthy to share, because I've never heard anyone else speak about holding the breath throughout the point of orgasm in order to preserve your inner vitality, your spiritual vitality.
Amazing. Actually, you're right. On the contrary, people are on different platforms, podcasts, everywhere are talking about the contrary. And I just don't understand it. But I'm so happy that you have talked about this in the book as well and with your own experience also. Thank you so much, Malcolm. We went overboard like crazy. But I had so much fun. I just didn't want this conversation to stop. And for the book lovers and people who want to kind of like me, we did a little experiment. If you know kind of buffer back on YouTube, you'll see an experiment also. I'll kind of mark it, time mark it as well. But it was something else for me as well. Thank you, Malcolm, for being on the podcast and writing this book. It's called The Way of the White Lotus. I think everyone should read it, even if you are not, you live under a rock, you don't care about the world. I don't know who you are. I don't care who you are, but do read this book to understand what's happening here, to understand about Streamline Meditation, about Malcolm also a little bit, what he has been up to for all these years. He has been experimenting, with all sorts of things, but he has a much better understanding of how to pursue meditation than most of us. So do pursue and read the book, and let us know in the comments as well. And Malcolm is available on Instagram, I believe. What's your handle, Malcolm?
Facebook is my preferred venue now.
Facebook.
I put up post videos weekly under Malcolm Fletcher Streamline Meditation.
Okay, perfect. So if you want to get in touch with him, I think he is a tremendous. I don't know if he likes the word teacher, but I'm just saying it. I don't have another word, but do first of all read the book, and then of course you can talk to him on social media. He would be perhaps happy to answer your questions. And yeah, thank you so much, Malcolm. I had a ball. Like really, I haven't enjoyed a podcast like for ages now, but this was something else. This was different, and I'm so happy that I've been able to host you in this lifetime. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rowan. That's beautiful. I also enjoyed very much, and I kind of knew that you and I were going to have a bit of a joyful exchange here today. I just felt that because when I first talked to you, I just felt like you and I connected very well.
It was meant to be.
You're a very open person, and of course that means that if you're open to, like you are, to books and what you can learn from them, obviously, if you're sincere, you've got to be open to the knower, the person who actually is behind the book, who's reading it, who's actually absorbed.
Yeah.
And I felt that with you. So look, it's been really fantastic to connect with you, and I thank you for your beautiful questions and giving me the opportunity to share this experience.
Thank you so much.